Okay, guys, today's story is kind of special. It's a story about a young couple who, well, if you were looking at them, you thought they can't know much peace, because that's what this is all about at heart. It's a story about a young couple, and their situation was, to put it mildly, a bit interesting. But our story begins with this man here. Here he is, here, and here. Yep. He is sending out a decree, kind of making a law. And back then, just like today, when laws are made, yep, they gotta be done. And his law was for a census to happen. Everyone had to be counted in all his land, just like they do today. Well, this is where our story begins. In those days, a decree went out from the Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration that was taken while Quirinius was the governor of Syria. Now, all went to their towns to be registered. And Joseph, he went from Nazareth in Galilee to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was a descendant of from the house and family of David. He went there to be registered. Here's the city here. He went there to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged. Here, just on the road, is Joseph leading their donkey, and Mary, who's engaged to be married to. She's very pregnant here. She's with child. While they were there, the time came for the child to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, for there was no room for them in the inn. That's the story. What has that story got to do with peace? Well, Mary had had an angel tell her this was all going to happen, and she didn't need to worry, because it was all part of God's plan. This baby that she was having was going to be the rescuer, was going to be the one that had been promised, that was going to live and die to rescue his people. She could live. She could go through all that she was going through, because she knew it was all part of God's plan, that God knew, that God had a way. You know, as I think of her story, as I think of Joseph's story and how they lived and what they did, I'm reminded of how God sees each one of us, how God loves each one of us, and how we can live with that same peace no matter what our situation in life, no matter what is going on. We can live with the same peace and the same hope, knowing God is in control. When He's number one in our hearts, when He's our King, we can have that same peace. Guys, if you want to know more of this story, go and read it for yourself. You'll find it in St. Luke chapter 2, the first 7 verses. Go and read God's story and know that same peace too in your life. That is my prayer for you this Advent Sunday.